my name's Chris Mann. I'm the VP of Product at a company called Bizo, and we're a data-oriented company in the online ad tech space, and we're focused on companies who are marketing to other businesses as our main focus. So to get a sense of who I'm talking to here, how many of you are familiar with online advertising and have been involved in purchasing online advertising? Okay, so pretty good group here. In terms of next follow-up question is, for your companies, how many of you market to businesses as part of your marketing? Okay, so was yours business too, or are you a consumer? Okay. Is yours consumer in terms of structured catalog data like a Macy's or a Nordstrom, or consumer like a Starbucks where it's a limited product set but more of a mass market? More like Macy's. Okay, gotcha. Well, so some of the principles underlying this are developed from work that I've done earlier in my career at Macy's and Nordstrom's, but now is built into this platform. So I've got 10 minutes. What I want to do is talk to you about B2B marketing today, and this is going to be a really quick overview of an hour-long session I'm doing later on today at 3. And I believe that's in the Marina room over in Building A. So what does B2B marketing look like, and what is the kind of the best practice emerging way that B2B marketers are managing their funnel? One of the key things is that B2B marketing, you're looking at complicated, very long, usually high dollar value sales cycles. And so what you start to see when you look at the technology stack at the leading B2B marketers is obviously you have a website here on the top with all of your landing pages, and all of your paid marketing is going to drive traffic onto that website. And we know that our prospects are making their decisions, they're self-educating themselves and reading our content and spending time on our websites, and before they've even identified themselves to us, they've kind of already made their decision, right? So we're spending a lot of time and energy in building this content and driving prospects onto the site so they can consume that content. What you have underneath the website in B2B marketing that's unique to B2B marketing is a marketing automation system. So this system, once people identify themselves by sharing their email address saying, hey, contact me, or I'd like to sign up for a webinar, this system does what's called nurturing. And so they send scheduled emails out that are designed to promote content that move the buyer through a very long sales cycle. And as prospects begin to engage and download this content, there's something called a lead score that gets decremented over time or incremented over time, and when you hit a certain lead score, you're passed to a sales rep. And so this is the typical B2B marketing process. Now, some of the challenges here is that there's a ton of leaks in this funnel, and most B2B marketers aren't addressing that. And that is that on a B2B website, roughly 95% of all traffic never becomes known to the marketing automation system. They remain what we call anonymous, so they don't share the email address so that we can then email them and nurture them. And of the ones that we are nurturing with email, which is our backbone of our nurturing, our marketing process, we're really stoked if we get a 30% open rate. So, 95% of the ones on the website are leaking, 70% of the ones that we're nurturing with email aren't getting through. And so the question is how do we address that, and how do we do this in an automated way that B2B marketers today can manage, but also take advantage of all these emerging principles that we're all here to talk about, and that is data and algorithms and customer segmentation and targeting. And so if you look at the B2B marketer's funnel, this is another view of that. If you take this example customer at the top, you have a total of, say, 10 million prospects who are viable candidates for purchasing the marketer's product. And then you look in the middle and you have, let's say, 100,000 monthly uniques on the website. And then in the marketing automation database over a few years, we've accumulated, say, 2.7 million contacts. And within that, these are people who've shared the email address and are in some state of relationship with us. So that's either very new leads that are in an active new lead nurture process, or these are cold loss deals or people who've opted out, or existing customers. So when you look at where the hottest slices of audiences are in terms of the audiences that are really engaged, thinking through, are in an active sales cycle with us, but that are also not fully addressed by the B2B marketer. It's a subsection of the anonymous website visitor. So some percentage of those anonymous website visitors are existing customers. They're people looking at the career site. They're investors looking at the investment prospectus post on the website. And then within the marketing automation system, there's many, many slices of people to go after. And so the ones that are new leads into the contact database system are the ones that are going to be highly responsive to marketing efforts. So what we do with Bizo is we sit down with our customers and have this conversation, talk through their particular situation, and help them build a program to address that. So you guys don't need display advertising one-on-one. So I'll skip this piece since most of you have been involved in this. So when you start to peel the onion back now, if you're thinking about what to do about this in terms of your B2B marketing funnel, first thing you do is you look at your website. And you can take a lot of practices that are really have been heavily invested in the consumer retail space and have been going on for several years now. And that is how do we use the behavior of the website visitor to understand their interests and then communicate to them with our marketing message based on that known interest. So for those of us that are in retail, interesting thing is that most B2B marketers today put everybody on their website in a single segment and they give them all the same ad creative. And that's kind of the state of B2B ad retargeting today. And so what we're doing at Bizo is we're taking a lot of the things that have been developed over the last 4, 5, 6 years in the consumer retail space and applying it here, but doing it in a way that's unique to the workflows for the B2B marketer. So how do we segment the site in a way that works for how B2B prospects navigate the site? And how do we determine what the B2B prospect is most interested in based on site navigation? And then what ad campaign do we put them in so that we speak to their known, current, most known and viable interest in terms of our sales objectives? The next piece is once that prospect has shared their email address and they move into this structured email nurturing process, because we're only reaching 30% of those people that we're nurturing with email, there's a huge opportunity to accompany display advertising here and reach the rest of that 70%. So what we're doing is we're going in with the customer and teaching them how to add banner ads and Facebook newsfeed and LinkedIn ads onto this process so that this is an always-on automated system that's putting the right message in front of the right user at the right time. So just to skip to the data flows, this is really the part about this conference, and what's so neat here is that when a user lands on the website, we synchronize user IDs, we synchronize a cookie ID with the marketing automation system so that in the ad serving environment and on the customer's website, we have a one-to-one relationship with their prospects. So within the marketing automation system, these customer segments and nurture flow rules are all set up in something called a campaign canvas, and I'll see if I have a screen here. So this is what a marketing automation system rule tool looks like, and it says under these conditions for these certain people, I want to first say this, and then if they're talking to a salesperson, I don't want to say anything, but if they're not, then I want to move them here if they haven't done anything in a week. And so this kind of thing segments all of that. Now, there's two ways that we can identify these people. One is by a known cookie, and the other is by a database that we manage over at Bizo that has over 5 million encrypted email addresses that match to our cookies. So what we do is we strike data provider relationships with all these large email list brokers who are in the B2B space, and they load our pixels when they send emails that give us a hashed email address and also matches up to a Bizo cookie ID. So if you can imagine this massive database with 5 million encrypted emails matched to Bizo cookies that also sits in our ad server. So just set that aside. Now come over to the marketer's CRM database, right? And the marketer has 2.7 million contacts in the CRM database that we've never seen before. We've never been able to cookie. They can create that segment, and our integration pushes these these encrypted emails to us, and so the marketer will have 1,000 encrypted emails, and then we'll look at our list of 5 million, we'll say, wow, out of that 1,000, we've got 500 of those that we've already been able to identify. So now we can put ads in front of those people on Facebook and on Google's ad network and the broader ad exchange without ever having had to identify them for the retailer. So some of the interesting things from a data perspective. In terms of geeking out a little bit with you guys, for those of you who are familiar with what's going on in the ad tech space, there's a ton of algorithms that sit underneath these types of campaigns. So let me explain. The numbers here that you see show the red numbers show the ranking of people based on the segments they go in, which are defined by the marketer. So if a prospect only hits the home page, they're only ranked so high in terms of the value of that prospect. Now, if the prospect looks at our collaboration product, they're ranked lower than the prospect who looks at our CRM product. So this is a Salesforce implementation we did for Salesforce. And so we have this ranking in our system, and when prospects fall into these different segments based on what segment they're in, how long they've been in that segment, and how many ads they've seen, we're modifying each and every bid as the ad comes to auction. So if you're familiar with how ad auctions work, you have about 40 milliseconds whenever an impression comes out. Let's say you're loading up the local newspaper on sfgate.com and you see where all those ads are loading. When those are loading, information is being sent to hundreds and hundreds of advertisers who see data about the cookies on that person, the time of day, the IP address. And we're all calculating bids based on our value for that impression for that user at that time. And so based on the segments, based on how long it's been since they visited the site, how many ads they've seen, we're changing the bid values to deliver an expected outcome for that user, or for our end client. So I'll spend about an hour going into this in detail and fielding any questions around 3 o'clock today over in the Marina Room over in Building A, if I've got that right. And happy to chat with anybody who's interested in getting into this a little bit more. Thanks, everyone. Great.